without the light, or the darkness come. Hold through the night, the shadows will run. Fend off the enemy, sing out the jubilee with all the fire we can breathe. We're singing all day and you can't tame it. High tide, low tide, you know. Night time, the morning time, yeah. We're going strong, headed up, down the river. Oh Lord, I feel the reveling. I feel a change on the rise. What good's a man who's lost his soul? Can't take a stand when his flame's gone cold. Fend off the enemy, sing out the jubilee with all the fire we can breathe. We're singing all day and you can't tame it. High tide, low tide, you know. Night time, the morning time, yeah. We're going strong, headed up, down the river. Oh Lord, I feel the reveling. I feel a change on the rise. Singing all day and you can't tame it. High tide, low tide, you know. Night time, the morning time, yeah. We're going strong, headed up, down the river. Oh Lord, I feel the reveling. I feel a change on the rise. We're singing all day and you can't tame it. High tide, low tide, you know. Night time, the morning time, yeah. We're going strong, headed up, down the river. Oh Lord, I feel the reveling. I feel a change on the rise. I feel a change on the rise.
Okay, welcome everyone. Again, part two from earlier today. I can't believe I've done 2 lives in one day. I am so exhausted. I was up for like the whole night last night. I think I slept maybe an hour and a half, kind of off and on. It was rough. But this stuff is kind of heavy on me, so I want to make sure I share it. Okay, but before I do that, I want to make some things kind of clear here. Okay. Awesome. I see there's 58 of you. Sweet. I'm hoping that one of the 58 of you needs to hear this. Okay. I have had someone share on Facebook today that this page is just full of fear mongering, or they called it fear porn. Okay. If anyone has watched any of my videos to their fullest, and know me in general from Facebook and my ministry in general, you know that this stuff should not ultimately just bring you fear. Like it shouldn't bring you fear, but it also should bring you comfort. Okay, I make that clear in every video. Just like when Christ was in the Garden of Gethsemane, he begged the disciples there, Peter, James, and John. Okay. He begged him. He's like, look, all you got to do is stay up with me. I've told you like days ago, he pretty much told them to the face, I'm about to be handed over and crucified and killed. And went right over their heads. Peter even tried to stop him. He said, get behind me, Satan. But anyway, he kept telling them what was going to happen. And they just went over their heads and went over their heads. And, he knew. So he gets them in the Garden of Gethsemane in the middle of the night. Okay. And he's like, look, guys, just stay up with me and pray. Okay. So he goes off and he prays one time and he comes back and they're asleep. He wakes them up. He's like, hey, pray. And he goes and he prays to his father. He didn't go pray to himself. He went and prayed to his father. And he came back. They were sleeping again. Okay. Even after he warned them, even after he told them, they were still sleeping, fast asleep. Well, he goes and prays one more time, and this time he was sweating drops of blood, is what it says. And it says this, okay? He asked his father, if it's in your will to let this cup pass from me, let it be done. But not let my will be done, but let yours. So he said, ultimately, as a normal human being, I don't want to die, but if it's in your will for me to die, let it be done. Because Christ told you, he said, I have not come to do my will. I have come to do the will of the Father. And he actually says that's why you're saved. You're saved to do the will of the Father, not the will of George and Kelly and Lacey and Truthfinder and Donut and Struggle and Teresa and Melissa, Leslie, not any of you guys and not Dustin. It's not the will of us. It's the will of the Father. And what does that mean? Well, what do you spend most of your time doing in your life? My son in that room next door, okay? I have told him countless times the same thing. Okay. One of the hardest things in my life right now is thinking about how much time I wasted, from my childhood and school and the dumb, stupid decisions I made and the testimony I indeed built in my life thanks to the Father ultimately leading me to where I am. But I wasted 30 years exactly of my life up until September. Up until September of 2019, September 5th. I turned 30 in November. I lived a life completely for myself, and it caused me to lose my son 2 months before my birthday, who was only about 2 months old. It about killed me. I wanted to die. I found out who God was real quick. First, I was mad at him. Boy, I couldn't stand it. You see all these people that come back to life left and right all the time, like bad people, and they're like, what in the world? They get to live on through CPR and stuff, but when I give my child CPR after pulling him out of a pool and he's still breathing a little bit, I don't get nothing. That's what I thought to myself for so long. I said, what in the world? But then Christ came into my life and everything changed. I started to talk about God far more than I talked about myself. I started to live for God a lot more than I lived for myself. I tell Braden, man, I'm like, look, think hard, son. How many years have we wasted? You're about to be 10 years old. And yet here we are. Okay, here's something the word says, in the end, people are going to die out of fear, mostly due to lack of understanding and guidance and understanding the word of God. That's why he says, you study yourself. You study yourself as one approved to equip to handle the word of God. Okay, now here's this. Ezekiel chapter 33 says this. Speak up, cry out, warn them. Me and you, watchmen, and women, watchwomen, watchmen. Warn them of their ways and warn them of what's to come. Warn them in general. Speak out. Don't shut your mouth and sit in a pew. Speak out. Warn them. If you warn them and they don't accept your word, then their blood is on their own hands. But if you don't cry out to them, let's say you got a bunch of loved ones around you and you're like, I'm scared to say anything. I know a lot that the word has taught me and I see them doing bad around me and I'm just going to keep taking part in it because I don't want to speak up. You need to know what that means. In Ezekiel chapter 33, he says, if you don't speak up to them, if you don't cry out to them, if you don't let them know, and then they fall into that, their blood is on your hands. Okay. And here's this. If I have been on fire like this since 2019, and I have gone through Bible college and to the fact of literally being a Dean's List student, like top of my class Dean's List student, and still flipping out on the college for teaching wrong things, finding out there's nothing but Freemasonry in the leadership, finding out that the whole college was based around the same time as the space race and everything else. That's when it was developed. And boy, is the deception heavy in there. Started picking up all kinds of things. And in the meantime, I started pastoring. I was a youth pastor starting off. I was in Bible college. And then by the end of it, after 2 years of youth ministry, I went and pastored my own church that I was literally asked to come pastor. So their pastor had just up and quit. So there I went and I was there for the remainder of my ministry. And it was amazing. I watched that church grow until their Freemasons started finding out that, started speaking of things that, man, that they're not supposed to be letting people know. Okay. And then here we are later. 2 years later, I have found out everything else about Freemasonry, Illuminati, the Sunday worship in which it was created on the 66th day of the year in 321. 3 plus 2 plus 1 is 6 AD when Constantine Rome changed the Sabbath. Ezekiel 20, God's eternal, invisible mark for his people so he can keep them and know them for an everlasting, eternal covenant. That's why it's written in stone in the 10 Commandments. Honor the Sabbath and keep it holy the seventh day. Well, they literally called it the mark of authority of Rome. They changed that Sabbath to Sunday. And I didn't know. I was lost in Babylon. Boy, I was preaching in there underneath the obelisk steeple of Rome, going up to the altars and all of that stuff. It's the Most High does not dwell in a temple assembled by the hands of man, end quote. Stephen, before he got killed by a temple assembled by hands of man, when she went in there to tell him, hey, you're doing it wrong. Okay. You've got to be willing to be warned about stuff. And if you take these warnings lightly and you laugh it off, or you say, oh, he's here, he's fear-mongering, well, it's gonna throw a big old wrench in your life. So I'm gonna drop that there and we're gonna move on forward. I hope that meant something to you in your life and makes you want to change your mindset. I tell my children and I tell my wife and I tell myself, I'm like, look, we got to change our ways. Why are we so busy thinking about games? Why are we so busy thinking about clothes? Why are we so busy thinking about houses? Why are we so busy thinking about things? And everybody's like, well, because the world runs off of this stuff. It absolutely does. You know what's cool is John the Baptizer was out in the wilderness with locusts and honey. And then the early church, they got rid of all their goods and went and lived in the wilderness in tents. They learned to live off one another and survive. Trades. All right, well, here we go. Tonight we're going to be talking about some pretty heavy stuff, but it's heavy in the sense that you take it and you do something with it. It's in your hands. You know it's there. You feel it. Do something with it, okay? Either take it and just throw it off as nonsense or absorb it and learn and look and share with someone you love. All right. Okay, so here we go, okay? What we're going to, let me get my screen share showed up, okay? Present, share screen, and this is going to be wild to me, okay? All right, the first thing we're going to be doing is jumping into the Word of God immediately. All right? As everyone knows, I have identified Donald Trump as, people are going to be up here new and that's going to hate hearing me say that. I've identified indeed Donald Trump as Apollyon, and I have put about at least 80 to 90 hours alone in just that topic alone with piles and piles and piles and piles of information that your pastors aren't talking about. Okay? Now, here we go. Let me get that starting soon banner off before somebody complains. All right, so here we go. First scripture we're going to talk about tonight is Revelation chapter 9, okay? Revelation chapter 9 is in which the king of the bottomless pit, okay, Abaddon, Apollyon, okay, you need to know who that is. It's the same Antichrist of old, okay? It's the same Nimrod of old, that spirit that shall not die. And if you've been following along, you know it's the same Antichrist spirit of Cain that has passed down 10 kingdoms, okay? He has passed down 10 kingdoms, 10 different ages. But you know, he tells you right there in plain sight in the plagues of Egypt, okay? You only get 9 chances, but the 10th time is a hardening of a heart and you're cut short. Okay. And he's going to take your firstborn, Satan. That's why he takes the Antichrist, his son. Okay. Hence Lucifer. Lucifer is Hallel. Ben is son of. Shahar is morning star. Satan is the morning star. Christ is the bright morning star. One's a greater light, one's a lesser light. One's made to rule the life and light and everything that has life. One rules the night and darkness and everything that has darkness in it. Okay. And as it is on earth, it is in the heavens. That's why if you bind things in the heavens, they're bound on the earth. If you loose things in heavens, they're loosed on the earth. Well, that's why there's actually planets that represent these fallen angels on the earth. Okay, that's a real thing. Whether you want to call them planets or balls of gas, I do believe in biblical cosmology. I do believe that they are balls of energy / gas, which is exactly what a light is. That's why I say he sets the lights, stars, angels in the firmament. Okay, as a representation of the things bound in the heaven and bound on the earth, and loosed in the heavens is loosed on the earth. Just as he told Peter, hey, here's the keys, man. Do what you want. What you bind in heaven will be bound on earth, and etc. Okay, well, here we go. This Apollyon is back for his final chance. All right, and he's been doing the same thing every time, all the time. I've been telling you guys, Christ introduces this whole thing of the repetitiveness, okay, just as it was in the days of Noah, and then he talks about Jonah, but he also says there's nothing new under the sun because it's always been the same. The first thing the Antichrist did in the world was built the city of Enoch. Cain built the city of Enoch. He became the master mason, the master smith, the blacksmith, the stone mason himself, the first ever. Cain. Okay, but then you got Tubal Cain. Okay, who's Tubal Cain? Well, we know after the city of Enoch was destroyed, all right, Tanakh, all right, that was the whole story of Osiris and Tammuz, and then the destruction of Set coming in, the destroyer, and destroying the city of Enoch, as it is seen clearly in that gods of Egypt. Set the destroyer comes in and destroys the city of Enoch, the first ever Babylon. Okay, and because of that, it causes the Antichrist, Cain, who resided in the sun, Enoch, bad Enoch, Tubal Cain, who made himself Metatron. Okay, that's why it has the father living in the sun and that whole Egyptian culture. Okay, that's where they mimic that in Babylon later. Okay, you have that destroyed, but you remember, if you read the other books that were taken out of, or apocrypha, removed, forbidden out of the Bible by the Roman Catholic Church, so you don't know these things, then you also know this. Well, later on, you have Lamech. Lamech's old and he's gone blind, and he's got his son, Tubal. Well, Lamech and Tubal are on the field, and Tubal is a trickster. Tubal sees Cain out in the field, wandering like a beast, and he knows he has great power. But he also knows the curse of Cain. If you kill him, he'll have sevenfold, and you surely shall not die. Hence, you'll be passed on into the next host. This is why Tubal tricks his father Lamech into pulling back a bow and shooting the beast in the field, and he could barely see. And next thing you know, he takes down this beast. Just like, Nebuchadnezzar was turned into a beast for 7 years. Just like Nimrod and his crew were turned into apes and elephants for a set period of time. Okay. Well, Cain was also marked as a beast. Okay. His first thing was a horn, a unicorn horn, if you want to be specific. And that's actually what I'm talking about in this story of Tubal and Lamech. Okay. They see that this beast in the field with a protruding horn from his forehead, marked as a beast. Okay. He got shot, and Lamech comes up to him, and his eyes are adjusting. He's like, oh no, I have killed my grandfather Cain. Well, here's what happened. Tubal's all excited because he thinks he gets away with it, but he drops dead immediately. Why? Because the spirit has to pass into the next host. Okay, so he drops immediately, and Lamech throws up his hands. Because of this, he's cursed sevenfold, and his wives and all those around see it. Well, Tubal becomes Tubal Cain, and he becomes Gilgamesh, who's around during the flood, as seen in Noah. That movie, The Ark. Okay, cool. Now you know. Well, after that, what happened? Well, then after the flood, you have Babylon, in which Nimrod erects a great tower to the heavens, trying to ascend to the heavens with great mighty towers. Okay, literally all over it. And then he gets one big one in the center. Okay, and then we find out there's two different locations of Babylon later, as I've proven to you guys on multiple decodes. Okay, so you have this ascending tower to the heavens, in which the Most High cuts him down and chops him down, and so he falls back to the earth. That's the story of Lucifer, not Satan. That's the story of Lucifer, how he tries to ascend to the heavens, but he gets chopped down. What always happens over and over and over again. Hence Enoch trying to ascend as Metatron, chopped down back to the earth. So here's this again. After that, you have Nebuchadnezzar building his mighty tower, hence the mighty tree that gets cut down, and then it gets turned into a beast for 7 years. Okay, then you want to fast forward a little bit more to the city of Nineveh. Well, that's what they had, was a great city in which they had great walls to keep the people in for the Nephilim to feast on them. Hence why it was the most wicked and abomination of all, just like a modern day Babylon. But he gave them a chance to repent. Nebuchadnezzar, who was filled with the spirit of Cain, well, he didn't repent. Okay, strike three. Or, yeah, strike three. Well, there it goes again. Cut down 100 years later because he doesn't repent. At first he repents, 100 years later, cut down. Then you have the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, another wicked place in which there's Nephilim and giants and homosexuality all in the land. Boom. Then you have literally all the way, and that goes all the way up to Rome and their erections. But now we have this. Do you know who owns the most towers in the whole entire world? Donald Trump. As far as specific hotels and things built into a certain standard. And I pointed out in many lives, everybody's like, no, he just owns the ones in the United States, in New York. Nope, he owns New York. He owns the one in Vegas, Sin City, his big old gold tower, in which I'm trying to tell you guys, hey, YouTube, while I'm thinking about it, this is for entertainment purposes only. If you silence me, you're only telling on yourself. There are people listening right now, and they know that if this video is deleted, then you have just confirmed everything that I said. So take that and do with it what you want. You're going to mess up yourself. Okay, so let me go forward. Donald Trump owns more towers in every single continent of the earth, including the one in New York City, the Black Tower, on the shores of Babylon the Great, because Babylon is sea to shining sea in these days. That's what the United States is, sea to shining sea. Amaruka, the land of the feathered serpent. Hence, our first flag was the snake erected and ascended to the heavens, saying, "Don't tread on me," because remember, there's a treading wine press at the end, but the snake was up trying to tread and strike the heel. Our first flag was the Babylon flag, not the American flag. All right, so here's Donald Trump with a 666-foot tower with the 666 fertility plants. He has plants planted in 6 by 6 by 6 and upside. You know how he likes to do his upside down triangle thing like that all the time. The fertility worship, sign of power. Okay, hand sign of the Freemason and the secret hand. All right. Well, all of those things are seen on his building. He's got the 7 pillars rising of the 7 deadly sins. Look at it. It's 7 columns ascending 666 feet up in the air. Hence the 7 erected spirits, all right, of before Satan. And it mimics the Most High. As Christ is, before the Most High is also 7 spirits. Okay. Well, he also has the 6 by 6 by 6 with 6 also in the center, fertility plants erected on the side as well. Okay, and he owns so many things like that. And his penthouse suite on the 66th floor of that tower. Okay, he has done the same thing as Nimrod in general, and he calls himself, he wants to make it great. All right, indeed, he wants to make it great again and again. And when have we ever been greater and great in general? Everybody's like, well, in the 50s. Nah, not in the 40s. No, we've been in war since the 1900s. When were we great? Oh, you're talking about like the 1800s, that whole, they tell you bits and pieces and you don't even know about the world fairs until a couple of months and years ago. Okay. All right. So Donald Trump also, we've talked about Don means Lord. Bel, Donald means ruler of the world. Trump is the last trump, the last trumpet, the last trump of Babylon the Great. Okay? Lord of the fiddles, Lord of the flies, Lord of the locust. We've pointed out all of that stuff. Pepe the frog, we've tied all that stuff into that too. Okay? Well, Donald Trump himself is Apollyon, however you want to admit it. And he's done the same thing many, many times. But this time he's going to get cut short. There's going to be a lot of chaos. Okay? It's going to be bad. Okay, that's what happens after you spill all the blood of the camp of the saints, and wrath is said it's going to come back on you this time, and double scoop is going to come back and pour on you from all the wine that is trotted up high outside of the walls of Babylon, because the people refuse to go into the walls this time. Hence Noahide, and why that's coming now for the Judaic law for the Jew Trump. So here we go. Revelation chapter 9. We have this president right now. And the fifth angel blew his trumpet, and I saw a star fall from heaven onto the earth. Remember, if things are loosed in the heavens, guess what happens next? Something's loose on the earth. It's simple, guys. Read the Bible. I love it. Okay? I saw a star fall from heaven onto earth, and to him was given the key to the bottomless pit. And he opened the bottomless pit, and I need you to pay attention to some things. Does it say smoke and lava and fire and all that stuff is coming out of this bottomless pit? No. It says this, and he opened the bottomless pit, and there only arose smoke out of the bottomless pit, like a mist, like a fog, whatever they call it these days. Okay? As the smoke of a great furnace. You guys ever been to a furnace? It's not even smoke, it's steam. Like a steam room, aka like I used to sit in, like, I remember school and high school and stuff like that, and it'd be freezing, blowing and stuff by the windows with the poor insulation and the poor window stuff in general, and it'd be freezing. You could almost see your breath some mornings until you kick on those radiators, and you can literally see them things steaming back there. Okay, steam. See, so what I'm saying is this: you have an opening of a bottomless pit, and there's arose literally a smoke out, and a smoke of a great furnace. Okay, and the sun and the air. Okay, it doesn't say that it's pitch black, like it's black. It says darkened, and it says you can still see the sky, but the sky's darkened. Okay, and you got to realize there's people living that can see things after this. This is a fog that is coming out of the bottomless pit. Okay. And a great smoke, a great furnace, and the sun, and they were darkened by the smoke of the pit. And mixed in with this smoke, you have some things, okay? I've been telling you guys the importance of Hydra, virile, okay? That word simply comes from virus, viral. A viral infection is a parasitic infection, a bacterial infection, which both, whether you want to admit or not, Google won't tell you this. A bacteria is a living organism that feeds. Okay, a parasite is a living organism that's broken down that can feed. Okay, been telling you, hydra, vril, hydrate. Okay, that whole thing is coming from the sea. A virus, a sickness, a bacteria that comes from a moisture, aka a fungus among us. You guys ever seen Mario and Luigi and how they descend into the underworld? And there's indeed a fungus down there, and that fungus tries to come up on the earth. Mario and Luigi, as I said, Cain and Abel in that one time. Okay, done so much on that. All right. Well, there comes out this smoke, but also mixed in with this smoke is creatures. Okay, not just creatures, not like your average little grasshopper, your little locust, but there are indeed locusts upon the earth, and to them was given power. When are they given power? Well, there's only one time that they're given power: after the 1,000-year reign. See, there's the 1,000-year reign, but you need to know, after the 1,000-year reign, power is given back over to Satan and the 10 kings of old to overcome the saints, aka the camp of saints. That's why in Revelation 20 it says literally there's a camp of saints that's surrounded. The tares and the wheat shall grow together in those days. Remember, he talked about two different generations. He said the tares and the wheat shall grow together in those days. We're the tents, the tabernacle in which the Holy Spirit resides. We're the tents scattered amongst the nations of Gog and Magog in the four quarters of the earth, all of us. And we're growing them with a bunch of tares. You're not sitting at the North Pole. If you claim that the camp of saints are sitting at the North Pole, then what does that make you? Not a saint, and you're the enemy that's surrounding the camp of saints. So you're saying that you're destined for the lake of fire. Think hard, okay? Think hard. If you think you're sitting at the North Pole, New Jerusalem doesn't come up and down from the North Pole. It actually comes down from the third heaven, as it says right there also in Revelation many times. Okay. Here we go. All right, so here we go. We got this smoke coming out, and it's darkening the sun. Remember, even Bill Gates said that he wanted to create a barium aluminum mixture in the air, and which could block out the sun to stop global warming. Okay. Now, and there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth, and unto them was given power, as the scorpions of the earth have power. And it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing, neither any tree, but only those men which have not the seal of God on their foreheads. And to them was commanded that they should not kill, but that they should be vexed 5 months, harassed by these things, and that their pain should be as the pain that cometh of a scorpion when he has stung a man. Let's see what that is. What pain happens when a scorpion stings? Okay, a bee sting is what this is saying, but let's read this. When a scorpion stings, the most common pain sensation is a sharp, burning pain localized at the sting site, often described as similar to a bee sting, with additional symptoms like tingling and numbness that can sometimes spread from the sting area. The severity of the pain can vary depending on the type of scorpion. Immediately onset pain can be felt immediately after the sting. Okay, burning, muscle twitching and spatting. Ooh, here we go. Look at these things. Okay, and tell me if you notice some things here. Severe pain. You know that a young child in Louisiana, I believe it was, just died of bird flu. Okay. Now, severe pain is the pain extremely of intense and widespread or muscle twitching and spasms, aka I can't control myself. Okay. Difficulty breathing, excessive salivation or drooling, vision problems, young children or elderly being stung. Okay. Well, there's just your symptoms of that stuff, is what that says. All right. Well, I want to show you something, okay? This is crazy to me. I want to show you something. I've been telling you guys something. I don't think this is just bacteria stuff. What I think is this is we're just getting the small stuff right now. This is a build-up, guys. You need to know that I have been put on this crazy rabbit trail with you guys that has been amazing. We've been figuring out stuff exactly when we need to figure it out. That's what I want to show you, okay? The order in which I have been going lately has been mind-blowing to me because I've been able to put together this huge picture in my head. Okay, let's look here. All right, let's go back to here. This was so important. Okay, if you missed this live stream right here, oh boy, about the wave. The wave is also part of the final destruction according to Ezekiel. Well, here we go. Let me show you. Ezekiel, therefore, thus saith the Lord God, behold, I come against thee, O Tyrus. I will bring up many nations against thee. This is where he stirs up the nations against the people rising up. It's literally what happens in the short season. He goes and stirs up the nations against thee as the sea mounteth up with his waves. Okay, and they shall destroy the walls of Tyrus. You know, the walls that Donald Trump builds, that's wanting to build so bad. He's wanting to build those walls so bad, is he not? Okay, he wants to destroy the walls of Tyrus and break down her towers. Well, I've been telling you guys about the towers of Trumpville. Okay, New York City, I've been trying to tell you guys about so much. Okay. That is the shores of Babylon, and the other shores in San Francisco, California, and forward, all up and down that coast. Okay. It's horrible. That's the promised land that has been taken back over by Canaan. Okay. So here's this. Okay. So here's the waves that are going to mount up against them and destroy the walls of Tyrus and break down the towers. Okay. That's coming. That's coming. But that was part of my first live stream that I did with you guys. Okay. So that was a check. This one right here was so important because this one was about what's going on in the world right now with Donald Trump and his little co-partner in crime, the Shrinery right here. Okay. You need to watch this one. Okay. Then I'm going to tell you the importance of this because as things are happening, you need to know Revelation 20 says he'll stir up the nations, okay, in the four quarters of the earth, which are Gog and Magog. We're Magog, magician, Hollywood. Okay, under the spell, enchanted. We're really the land of old that has been switched over as the New World in the New World Renaissance New Age 1500 after the 1,000-year dark age of the barbarians slash Tartarians. Tartarians coming from the word Tartaria, Tartaria coming from the word Tartarus, which means prison of the fallen one. Rhea means city. So during the reign of Tartaria, you have the prison of the city of the fallen one, as Satan is bound for 1,000 years. Okay, and it says during the 1,000-year reign, they will take great pride in the mansions they build with their hands in those days, aka all of the immaculate buildings all around that were not built by angels. They were built by men and women that were not distracted by the devil and fogged down by barium and aluminum and calcium chloride and fluoride. You can think and do things like that too. Man, I love construction. It's what I've done my whole life. I can build you whatever, draw you whatever, paint you whatever. I can play a guitar, sing you a song, and write it too. I've learned to do everything I can. I can do a backflip. Okay. I can do crazy things because I wanted to learn how to do these things. All right. Well, this one's so important because as we have two things happen over here, we have James and John the destroyers wanting to call down fire on the Gentiles over there, Hamas, and all of those that surround. That's what they wanted to do. They wanted to be the greatest in the kingdom. Well, Donald means greatest in the kingdom, ruler of the world. We have Donald John Trump and James Donald Vance. Now over here is the destroyers with Peter Thiel as their active Secretary of Defense. Well, overseas right now, you have literally in St. Peter's Basilica, the mouth of the snake. Okay. You have him over there with the gray pope, black pope, white pope. Once again, a section of threes. Can you guess who those three are? Also, the three frog like spirits that come out of everything, out of the mouth of the dragon, out of the mouth of the false prophet, out of the beast. You have these three frog like false prophet spirits. Okay. Peter, James, and John. I'm going to try and tell you the gates of hell shall not hold them back. They shall be able to go to and fro and open and loose and bind and set free. Okay. So we have all that happening, but over there, you don't just have that. You have the red dragon, King Charles, in which he's had to be separated. Because remember, it says the dragon would spew out water, a great flood, after the woman who will be taken away by an eagle and comforted for a time and half a time, aka American eagle over here, us. Okay. We were taken away from him. And the mud flood happened because the earth swallowed up the water, okay? Causing the mud flood to bury all those immaculate buildings that you see everywhere. That took place. And the dragon's over there, and he's still wroth with us, okay? So you've got this war stirring up the nations, okay? In which you have the king, King Charles, doing all these things. But the King Charles isn't the last Antichrist. King Charles is the red dragon. You know how like Satan entered Judas? Well, Satan entered King Charles, okay? Well, that's not Apollyon. That's someone separate, different. Okay, the dragon gives power to the beast. Okay, the dragon gives power to the false prophet, Rome, the Roman Catholic Church, St. Peter's Basilica. Okay, while they're both over there, Apollyon the destroyer is over here with James the destroyer as well, and then Anubis the Baphomet over there, Elon Musk. Remember, I've been telling you the importance of that stuff. The tech giant who gives power to Osiris X. Okay. Well, that's where this comes from. The prophecy of the Pope. There's the first and the last Pope. Okay. The prophecy of the first and the last Pope, because here's Peter mimicking the Most High, trying to be great as well. Well, he makes himself the first and last Pope. And Christ died up on a straight cross, so he dies on an upside down cross. Okay. Peter's the rock of the gates of hell of Caesarea Philippi, where Pan's temple was erected, as I talked about this morning. Okay. Well, all this stuff is happening with the first and last pope. The next pope up after Francis dies, because he's being tested during this season with these doors. Okay. After he retires and or dies, the next pope up right now is literally Peter, the Roman, Pietro del Roman. And he's literally he's the only Italian named Peter that has been sitting in that place. And he's claiming to be, I forgot what the word, your eminence, which means the greatest as well. That's coming. And he's prophesied to be the last pope of the apocalypse until the world is completely destroyed. That's already a check. That's coming. Okay. This is important too. But then this stuff is so important. I've been telling you. There's actually beasts and there's actually things that are in our oceans right now. This video right here will blow your mind. AKA, you may want to sit down for this one. Okay. During this video right here, I try to tell you guys, man, there is some stuff happening in our oceans. I point out so many different warships that have been completely snapped in half. I have put it, and not warships, cargo ships that have been completely snapped in half, torn in half, completely missing. I've also showed you many ships that have gone missing, their crew and all, or a chunk of their crew, and they don't get their stories right and things like that. It's nuts, the stuff that's in this video of what's been going on in just the last 3 months. Not to mention, we right now have more warship activity in the world than ever before, and it's not just for us. There's Japanese, American, Russian. I mean, you name it. The United Nations, everybody's going nuts in the oceans right now, and China has deployed their biggest ever naval fleet right now out doing some things on this. All right, there's a lot going on. I encourage you to watch this because this is part of this video tonight. The longer we wait, the bigger they get. They start off small and they get bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's nuts. Just like in the movie Pacific Rim and Atlantic Rim and Power Rangers and Transformers and all these other movies where you fight beasts coming out of the sea. All right. Well, moving up here, we have this fog stuff, which is crazy. All of this stuff here, we're not going to be talking about tonight. And yet here's a good 2 more hours worth of information on top of what we're talking about tonight. Okay. And then watch these two. Well, right here tonight, here we go. Okay. This fog that's coming up, it's saying that there's going to be creatures and locusts in the bottomless pit, and this fog mixture first. The first thing that comes out is a fog, a literal. Okay. We talked about that. That was mind blowing stuff. Okay. Let's keep on going though. Here we go. Now I want to talk about this. Where is this fog coming from, and why is this fog coming from? Okay. Well, here we go. Hyperborea. What's Hyperborea? Inner Earth. Hyperborea just happens to be the entrance to Hollow Earth. Okay. Some people that believe in the globe model think that Hyperborea is both the North and the South Pole. Okay. Okay. Some people have read the book of Enoch and know that there is no South Pole. There is only the center of the earth in which there is an entrance into Hollow Earth, which is seen clearly in Baron Trump's marvelous journey to the center of the earth, in which he sends him and his marvelous dog down the little funnel in the center of the earth, in which they had to cover themselves in lead, which was why that was banned during the same time as Hitler sending his team up to Hyperborea. They took all the lead, covered themselves with lead, because in order to go into Hollow Earth, you have to be able to deal with all the radiation pollution of mankind. Hence the balance of order. That's why Leviathan has to rise up in general. Is we didn't just destroy ourselves, we destroyed the heavens, we destroyed the earth, we destroyed the people. So chaos must balance. Okay? Hyperborea is very real, but Enoch doesn't talk about just the North Pole being the entrance to the center of the earth, guys. I love the book of Enoch. In the book of Enoch, he speaks about the many hollow places, but also the many entrances. There's actually, I think to remember 4 entrances that he speaks on specifically, and each one of those are described as a volcano if you want to be specific. Okay? The black smooth areas he's talking about in the entrance, well, that's what happens when lava cools, okay, or lava's formed and it turns into literally that black smooth rock that he sees as he's descending into the tunnel, the funnel, the tube, as he calls it. Okay, as he's going in there, he starts to notice literally the streams of magma in the hollow places of the earth. Okay, which I'll pull up some scripture here if we have some time in a little bit. I think I have them at the end of the slide there. He sees all that stuff going in there, but he also sees things. First, he's brought into this area in which he sees Sheol. And Sheol, he sees, well, the upper parts where Abraham's bosom was, in which people are comforted for a bit until they're brought back up and rested. That's their spiritual form. Their body rests, their body rests in the dirt, and their spirit rests beneath the dirt in this gathering place down there. Okay, that's why the sea and the earth have to give up its dead in the end. Okay, we give rest. All right. Well, that's a real place that's going on down there. And down there was a group of people that some could be brought back to life during the 1,000-year reign, but there were still people down there not to be brought back until after the 1,000-year reign, for the people that think that that don't exist anymore. Well, that's pointed right out there in Revelation chapter 20. Okay, so there is indeed a hollow place in the earth in which the spiritual stuff does indeed reside. But there's also this. There's also prisons down there in which many Titan fallen angels are bound, according to Enoch himself. He looked and he saw them bound in the outer darkness, and he's told word for word, hey, those are held in place to be released onto the earth during final judgment to kill a third of the population. End quote. Hence why there's four great angels that wait at the edge of the firmament. That's what it says. That, and it literally says that at the ends of the heavens, at the ends of the firmament. That's why you have these four beasts, no joke, that were released after the eclipse right there at the edge, the Antarctica ice wall, where the mouth of Leviathan is. At the edge of the firmament was indeed released these four beasts. And it says they're not going to do something right away. It says that they're going to be prepared. By what we mean? Well, by the kings of the earth, by the demons of the earth that can control those things with the rings of Solomon. You better be paying attention to people's hands. Freemasons, high-level Freemasons that can bind and loose things. All right. Well, those things will mind and listen to when they are bound, okay? And it's all off vibration and frequencies. This is why Elon Musk has a Vajra on his nightstand desk. Frequencies in which he can control things like that. All right. So those big beasts that are in the sea, they're being prepared for a day, an hour, a month, a year, etc. They're not going to start right away. They sit and they wait. It says they were created to play and make war with the ships in the sea. Were there ships in the sea at the very, 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 very? No. They were created to play with the wars. And there's more ships in the sea right now than ever before. Especially right now in the, watch this. Whew. Watch this. Okay. Okay. Check this out. They even call it the Poseidon with his trident. This is pretty mind-blowing to me. Poseidon, the one who control. You guys ever seen any of the gods of old movies and things like that? You ever wonder why he holds the trident and wonder why Aquaman holds the trident and he can speak and control the animals and he goes dong, bong, bong. Okay. Well, that's what they're doing with these beasts, but it's weird they come up with this thing they're doing right now that they're starting in 2025 where they're starting a Poseidon expedition. This is why you have all the warships with their breaking icebreakers. China sent their icebreakers up there. Russia sent their icebreakers up there. Donald Trump is begging to buy Greenland and Canada for security purposes because of all the warship activity as well. Well, if you pay attention to Godzilla, that's how the movie starts off in Godzilla, King of the Monsters. They send a team to the Arctic Circle and the Antarctica ice hole where they start breaking up the ice. First to go to where Godzilla attacks Tiamat in the Arctic Circle, in which he absorbs the red dawn radiation of what's been going on in the air. I've been saying they prepare the air where they prepared the air, and Godzilla absorbed all the radiation that was in the air at the Arctic Circle, aka the Northern Lights. Okay. Well, he goes from there. They send a team to the Antarctica ice wall. And where they go there is they drill in and they wake up Ghidorah and the three-headed dragon Leviathan itself, all right? By breaking open the ice. Well, that's going on right now. Literally. Okay? Not to mention the warship activity that I've already pointed out in all those videos. Okay? Hyperborea, I've already explained way better than this thing right here probably will. Okay? It's the entrance to Hollow Earth. Now let's keep on going here. Show you some nut stuff. You guys know how I am about Smith. Smith is actually transferable with the name Pan. Okay? That's, if you want any proof of that, that's found in the Two Babylons book, which is in my camper right now. Okay? I maybe can bring that up and do a quick little two Babylon decode with you guys sometime. But in that, it talks about the word Smith and Pam and the interchangeability between those two. I want to show you some crazy things here. Fantasy Cycles of Clark Ashton Smith's Part 2, The Book of Hyperborea. Okay, if you get tired, go take a nap, go to bed, and see me in the morning. Okay, if you want to pause or whatever, that's fine too. Just know I've been up for a long time and I want to keep going with you guys. This is probably gonna be a long one tonight. The Fantasy Cycle the, of Clark Ashton Smith, Part 2, the Book of Hyperborea by Ryan Harvey. Legend says that after his exile from Iceland, keep that in mind. Eric the Red, like Red Skull, John Schmidt, John Jacob Jingleheimer Smith, John James Jingleheimer Smith. His name is my name and your name too, apparently. John and James Smith. Well, here's the thing, okay? Red Skull was the one that Hitler sent to the Hyperborea, in which he got the Thrall and Hydra and etc. Okay? Hence why this probably, I think, talks about Red Skull down here. Let me see. Ah, sweet. Okay. All right. Let's see. Red voyaged to the frozen island and settled there in 982 CE, deciding not to scare away new settlers with an intimidating name like Iceland. He dubbed the place Greenland. We can scoff at Eric's bit of dishonesty in advertising, and certainly any homesteaders who fell for this marketing ploy would have felt like cleaving Mr. Red's skull with a scram axe. But perhaps Eric knew something about Greenland's deeper history. The lost chronicles that fantasy writer Clark Ashton Smith revealed in his stories are about the far northern continent in its younger days before the glaciers claimed it, when wizards and elder gods and willy thieves and greed moneylenders crisscrossed its steamy jungles and ebony mountains and opulent cities, a vanished civilization known as Hyperborea. Well, this is seen in the newest Godzilla, in which he sends Godzilla and Kong into inner Earth, and there's a civilization of people living in there. And they have all kinds of crazy beasts, giant apes. Remember, they were turned to giant apes and elephants and stuff like that. Giant apes were down there. There were also all kinds of other big scary beasts, the Mothra, all kinds of stuff down there in Hollow Earth, and which they allow them to break up and come on to Upper Earth. Everything comes up on the Earth, Upper Earth. Shinu, I mean, it's just a crazy mess that happens in those Godzilla series that I believe is very accurate. Okay, so in this, and you see here, you have them coming up to a city and all of this stuff, and you have this Kraken creature and all this other stuff here that we've been talking about, but you get it, all right? And in this one, this is what happens. They send them there and they come up on the land and da 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 da. It's just this long story on this. I will keep going because I know that it's a lot for you guys. So here we go. Check this out. Let's get to the juicy stuff. Okay. Why is Iceland and Greenland important? Well, why does Donald Trump want Greenland after what we just read? Why does Donald Trump want to get up there in the Arctic Circle area, especially if he's a Polyon that wants to open up a circle? And apparently something's been going on up there already. And there's been a fog going all over the place. Okay. This movie here is crazy. I remember watching it when I was real little. Okay. I think I was like maybe 11, 11 years old. Okay. This was 2011. I mean, 2001. All right. Was produced by Donald Paul Hahn. Okay. Was the maker of this movie, Donald. Okay. And in this movie, this will blow your mind. Do you know who plays the main character, Milo, who takes the whole team to the center of the earth? Well, Michael John Fox is his name, if you didn't know what the J stands for. This is Michael John Fox, who plays Milo, who takes a team to Hollow Earth to open up the Atlantean culture and bring it onto the surface of the face of the earth, is what John does. Michael. Remember, Michael, that great prince, the guardian of the abyss, will stand up at judgment, is what the word says. That's why it's Michael John Fox. Nuts. Produced by Donald. Well, you know who his partner in crime is? James Scott Garner. That's nuts, right? So you have James and John, produced by Don, going into Hollow Earth, Atlantis. All right. And on top of this, all right, the music writer is James as well. We've been talking about some crazy stuff lately. All right. Matter of fact, let me show you. I want to show you the cast picture so you can match some faces. Okay, here we go. All right. Milo's middle name in the movie is James Thatcher. Okay. Michael John Fox plays Milo James Thatcher, who makes himself the greatest of this team to lead everybody into Hollow Earth. All right. Well, his grandfather, the original explorer who discovered Hollow Earth, this is John Mahoney. His literal grandfather. Okay, who passes down the reign to John to go in there. Okay, well, the commander of the fleet is James Garner, who makes himself the commander of the fleet that takes Michael John Fox / Milo James Thatcher and John Mahoney, a company, to Hollow Earth. Okay, all right. Just like John, you remember John was on exile on the island of Patmos when he saw beasts coming out of the sea as well, some island. Okay, let's keep on going here. Now you got some faces to match up with that stuff because I think that's crazy. All right, so in this movie Atlantis, let me show you some crazy stuff, okay? There was this big uproar that took place. I'm going to show you a clip that I bet you have never seen before, okay? In the movie Atlantis, they made two movie entrances, like two movie intros to this movie, okay? The one that you've seen mostly is where it has an explosion and you have the Atlanteans run away in their ships and they're like, "You fool, you've destroyed us all." I'm going to show you that. But there's one that came even before that of Vikings, Nordics, Hyperboreans, and they try to go and discover inner Earth. And they're approached by this giant kraken that sinks their ship. You ready for this? I hope so. All right, let's see what we can find. This is gonna be crazy. All right. I don't want to miss anything here. All right. First, let's start. I'm hoping this one should be it. Now, it's not going to have volume, okay? It just is what it is. I've got best I can right now. Okay? But I will walk you through it. All right? So hold on one sec. Let me get my screen share up so you guys can see it. All right, so I have to stop this one. And I have to start this one. Window, boom. Okay, you ready? Okay. All right. Watch this, guys. This was what the first ever intro was supposed to be, and there was so much controversy about it, they switched it. Here it goes. Walt Disney with the dome, Tartarian building, and 666. Somewhere off the coast of Iceland, 997 AD. John Mahone. I, I don't know if you guys can hear and watch this at the same time, but can you guys hear me okay? If you guys can let me know, like, are you able to hear me okay while I'm playing this? Yes? I'm going to talk just for a sec, just to make sure that you can. Okay? Well, I'm going to rewind it a little bit. I haven't got any words back yet. Let me just put it back at the beginning and walk you through it. Okay? All right. Thank you, Melissa. All right, you ready? Here we go. I'm just going to. Okay, so somewhere off the coast of Iceland, all right? They're looking for a portal to Atlantis off the coast of Iceland, Greenland area, Iceland area. Okay, they're looking for a portal to Atlantis. My lord, have you forgotten? The portal is guarded by monsters. That enough. I'd slay a dozen monsters for the treasure spoken of in the journal. Blonde hair, blue eyed Odin's son says. Sail on, the Vikings say, the Nordics say, the Spaniards say. Storm is brewing. And then up comes this Kraken. Woohoo! And it destroys this ship. All right. Watch this. Do your worst, he says. Well, this Kraken beast, watch this, how it turns into some reason. A portal opens, smoke comes from the bottomless pit and covers the sky. Okay, and did you see the Moana Maui pedophilia thing on the background of Atlantis? Okay, so that's how the original one's supposed to go. All right, but I want to show you something even crazier. The one they show to everybody is even more nuts. You know, I don't know how people aren't even seeing stuff from this. Watch this. Make sure this isn't the same one. Yeah, it's the same one. Let me get a different one. I've got so much mess up here, guys. I'm juggling, but here we go. This is it. All right. So this one I'm showing you now. I've got pulled up. Let me get my screen share going again. This one is Atlantis Part 2. Okay, this is how this one starts. All right. It's nice to be able to sail with the lights on without worrying about a U-boat as they're going through this thick fog, this thick smoke. Okay, is what they're going through here. All right. Don't you miss the excitement? They're interrupted by something as they enter this great foggy mist. Okay, what is it? Well, they'll tell you. It's the Kraken. Back for more action. All right. So here goes this. It rises up, destroys the ship. Okay. And you have the beginning of this movie. All right. I don't think much else happens besides it literally getting destroyed and sank. Okay, cool. You get it. All right. So now, I'll show you another one. Here's the original intro to Atlantis 1. You guys know who Plato is? We're going to be doing a little bit of reading in Plato tonight. Okay. This is a very awesome video. I love how this is rolling tonight. Very excited. All right, check this out. Apps. All right, so here we go. Tamarama. I don't know how to say your name really, but I believe he was swallowed by Leviathan. Okay, the belly of the beast. I believe that's where he was. All right, so here we go, which is another form of. Okay, anyway, I don't want to get distracted. Watch this. Hold on, I got to pull up a different screen. I've screen shared the wrong one. All right, hold on. Ooh. Boom. Video file. Ooh, that's not it either. Don't fall off this video. You're going to miss some crazy mess here in a minute. All right, so here's the original one. Watch this one, guys. Ah, man, I did it again. I'm so sorry. Please don't go nowhere. Just wait a second. Be patient. I have to be patient. You guys can be patient. All right. All right. Now here we go. Let's look one more time here. Today. Okay. All right. I think it's this one. Boom. All right. 1, 2, and 3. Here it goes. Sorry, guys. There's a lot of stuff to juggle back here. All right, here it goes. Enjoy. This is Plato, 360 BC. In a single day and night of misfortune, the island of Atlantis disappeared into the depths of the sea. Now, I want to tell you guys something, all right? Do you remember at the beginning of the Bible it says there was darkness over the face of the deep and the Spirit of God hovered over the waters, okay, and separated the deep from the sea and etc. and pushed stuff down and separated stuff up, okay? Well, that kingdom of the deep, that deep there at the beginning is actually translated into Tiamat. You need that's later, it's used many times. The deep is used all throughout your Bible, and yet you think it's just the deep ocean, okay? No, okay. The deep itself, okay, is Tiamat and all those creatures of the deep, all those things of the deep that bust forth from the springs of the deep. That's why during the flood of Noah, it wasn't literal like you need to know. It wasn't just the fog and the springing of the deep that was bust forth, but it was actually creatures and things that bust forth as well. And we've even read some of the other texts in which Leviathan has three risen times, and that's why it has three Gorgon heads. Okay, and I've actually tracked all three of those heads on the map. All right, with the last one being down there at South America that's still active. Okay, the other ones are crushed. All right, well, it's three different ages of the same beast that rises up. This is why it says the Queen of the South, who's actually referred to as Queen Sheba. Queen Sheba also being the squid in in India culture. Okay, Queen Sheba, her 8-armed thing, Leviathan or Kraken, all of those things tie into the same type thing, the water goddess of the blue. Okay, well, the kingdom of the deep at the beginning was Atlantis that sunk. That's Neptune, the Atlantean kingdoms of Tridents. I mean, not Tridents, of Poseidon, Aquaman, that whole thing, King Atlantis, who's technically King Atlas. You need to know that Atlantis. Okay, that was the first ever kingdom of anything, even before Enoch. Okay, well, the kingdom of Enoch, no, I mean, the first before Kingdom of Enoch, the kingdom of Atlantis had sunken. Okay, it was the first thing that was separated and divided. That's because remember, Satan had a fall even before Adam came in. That's why Adam in the garden, Satan was already present. Okay, in a snake, serpentine, water serpent form. Okay, Tiamat, Leviathan. We've talked about that stuff so many times. Okay, that's why that had to take place. The Lilith and a Leviathan, you have a dark side of Adam and Eve that was created before the light side of Adam and Eve. Hence, Satan and Lilith is a dark reflection that had to exist before the good side of Adam and Eve. You have one created in light and life, naming everything that was given life, giving it purpose. Okay. You have another one that creates and brings forth darkness and wrath. Both of those are controlled by the Most High. The Most High uses his sons. One is a set apart good, good, greater light. Okay, one is set apart as a lesser light. Okay, in the story of Job, he uses Satan in Job's life. Okay, he uses one for wrath and chaos, and one for mercy and grace. Okay, well, the first thing created in this world was an option, a choice. He gave you a choice first. Okay, darkness, you can choose it. Okay, but he's calling you into the light and life. All right. First thing he did was make you where you're not a robot. You have an option. Okay, but he's hoping that you'll see the good and focus on the good. Okay, that's the point. Okay, and trust in him through this storm because he has his hands controlling both sides. That's why in Isaiah it says, I create the light and the darkness, bring forth the good and the evil. Okay, your pastor hates reading that verse to you because he don't know how to explain it when he's up there believing the Council of Nicaea and Trinity lie and combining them all together in the exact thing. When Christ himself, Christ himself said, the Father is greater than he. He told them, don't touch me. I haven't ascended to my Father and my God and your God. Christ is the bright morning star. Satan is the morning star. They're both sons of God. Hence, the sons of God came down to the women of the earth and made it. Well, you have Satan and Lilith creating the darkness of the deep, and you have Adam and Eve being fruitful and multiplying as the father and mother of all good in life. Okay, the first ever kingdom that was before even Adam, you need to know this, was the kingdom of darkness, the Atlantean kingdom. Hence why they're pictured in this movie with white blonde hair and blue eyes. Okay, hence lacking melanin, lacking light, lacking sunlight. Okay, they were created in darkness, the deep, the city of the deep. Okay, that's how they're able to be down there and see. They were brought forth in the darkness. When you're born in darkness, okay, you don't have melanin. Your eyes turn blue when you're blind. Okay, but they also turn blue without light. Okay, it's just this how it is, the lacking of melanin. This is why Rh negative is the oldest of all. Okay, the negative. Okay, we have a negative before the positive, the light bearing. It's not saying you're doomed to hell. Remember, you need to know this. Noah was only righteous in that generation, but Christ offers a chance for all of you to be clothed in that righteousness of the Holy Spirit in these days. He says, you must be born again in my blood. Yours is tainted. Mine is tainted. I'm 63% Puerto Rican, African, and European. Would you have ever known it? My wife is an Egyptian Jew. And she was told she was Mexican. All right. All right. So here we go. In a single day and night of misfortune, the island of Atlantis disappeared into the depths, the deep, into the depths of the sea. Okay? Watch. This is crazy. Pause. Look at the Atlantean tech. Okay. Look at everything in this. I've been trying to tell you guys Atlantis is rising. The UFOs, the orbs, all that stuff coming from the sea. That is Atlantean tech coming from the sea. That is Atlantean tech coming forth from the ocean, from the deep, the kingdom of the deep, just like in the movie Aquaman. Well, that's what happens. They're in Aquaman. They're in this giant bubble, a barrier beneath the sea, in which they release their creatures and their monsters, big ones, huge ones, and also these big creatures like UFOs that they're mounting. Okay, they send these things up. Okay, well, that's because they're Atlantean tech, far beyond our tech, the kingdom of Satan's tech. Him and his magical hands can build some good stuff with the mixing of iron and all of that stuff, right? That's what he taught Cain. All right. Well, here we go. Pause. This is crazy. Are you noticing these buildings with their? This is cool to me. You know, if you love Tartaria, you know that I love Tartaria. You know that I love the whole everything about it. The rods. I love the mercury balls on the rods, and what the fact that means is literally it pulls in harnesses and then runs down a copper coil right down the sides of these buildings into a harnessing device of mercury. At some points, in some locations, they still have traces of that stuff. Okay, mercury's hard to find now, but they, and on top of it, they would have a bell that resonates also. Okay, all of that stuff is real. But do you know when it also existed? Watch this. Pay attention to the buildings. Okay, pause, 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 pause. Look at the spires, this all this stuff on the top of these buildings, guys. All the high arching spires, whatever you want to call them, spires is what I call them. Okay, all that stuff is on top of this stuff. All right, look at this. The blue flame spark, okay, or as is talked about in Asgardians, they've got the Tesseract. Or if you want to talk about Transformers, they have the All Spark. It's the blue flame of Hyperborea, the lesser light, the electric light, the blue flame fire. Hence why Hades has the blue flame on top of his head in the movie Hercules. And it's also a blue fire all down there. Okay? It's really radiation poison if you want to be specific. The black sun is nothing but an electric light. All right. So everything's going wrong. And guess what happens? The kingdom of Atlantis indeed sinks exactly like in Aquaman. Watch. You see the people with the white hair and the blue eyes like I was trying to tell you about? All right. Well, check out. I don't want to waste so much time. She ascends and she causes this big old dome to form over Atlantis before the wave, the big tidal wave, the big tsunami, the waters of the deep. Remember, Christ caused waters to be there. After the kingdom of darkness sank, there was nothing but waters on the face of the earth, right? 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 Right. Cool. Watch this. There was a kingdom everywhere, but it sunk. And there was darkness over the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God hovered over the waters and separated the sea from the deep. Okay, so now let's go on even further. All right. Okay.
Define it for you? Look, all hell will break out. If those hostages aren't back, I don't want to hurt your negotiation. If they're not back by the time I get into office, all hell will break out in the Middle East. And it will not be good for Hamas, and it will not be good, frankly, for anyone. All hell will break out. I don't have to say anymore, but that's what it is. And they should.
It will not be good, frankly, for anyone. Do you know what date he gives this guy to? He gives him until January 20th, ultimately, to do this. Well, do you know what happens 5 days later? A solar alignment, unlike any alignment like we've had over the past few years. This is the 260-year alignment that's going on. Okay, and in this 260-year alignment, I want to show you where I believe that's going to happen. Watch this. Let's see. One second. I want to pull up something for you guys. Well, I'll show you on my YouTube page. I know where that is. Okay, check this out, guys. Here's what I believe is going to take place, okay? Just as it was during the eclipse. Well, here we go. Let me get my screen share pulled up before I go on with this. Hold on one sec. Okay, there's a solar alignment of all the planets lining up. And you remember it says in the end, it says a woman adorned with stars above her head and beneath her feet. Watch. But there's a solar alignment that causes it, and look what's going on over the earth. There's this dark fog everywhere, all over the earth. He's with the world. Brothers! And you notice he looks like a parasite? Well, you know his two little minions. They say, "We are worms!" And they collapse into worms beside him. Look at you in your squally prison as he looks down there at some titans. Who put you down there? Zeus. The first thing he's going to do is destroy him. You have earth, water, wind, fire. You have the four titans of the deep. You have a attack of literal freezing events, earthquake events, wind events, and earthquake events all happen at once, along with actual titans coming up on the face of the earth at the same time. AKA the four titans bound in the great Euphrates, that it literally talks about the four angels at the four quarters of the earth that hold back the winds, hold back the hoarfrost, hold back the fog and mist, hold back the, see what's going on there? There's four angels that hold back those store chambers of all those things. And then there's actually, just as things are loosed in the heavens, so shall they be loosed on the earth. Okay. And Freemasons love that stuff. Yet people don't even know what it means. Okay. So anyway, according to Donald Trump, all hell is going to break loose, and it's not going to be good, not just for Hamas and the Gentiles, as he calls them, because he wants to call down fire on the Gentiles. But it's not going to be good, frankly, for anyone, according to Donald Trump. All right. Well. Okay. Let's go on from here. Okay, so we've gone past this one, but I want to show you something else even more bananas. All right, now we need to focus on this Iceland Greenland thing just a little bit more. Okay, well, this is gonna be wild. Okay, get it pulled up on my end first. All right. I think it's this one. Yes, yes. Okay, first try. All right, let me get it up for you. All right, guys, watch this. I'm so excited about what's going on right now. Okay. Present screen share window and blam. All right. All right. This is in London. Okay. Wait, no, it's not. This is in Washington, D.C. This is during the World Fair stuff. Watch. Don't believe me? This is Washington, D.C. You thought it was London, too. This is Washington, D.C. in 1914. And this is Michael John Fox. Okay. Right here. And he's making a presentation. Now, we've all heard of the legend of Atlantis, a continent somewhere in the mid-Atlantic. In Atlantic, Atlantis, Atlas. It was home to an advanced civilization possessing technology far beyond our own. Fallen tech. Before they were in the heavens, they were on the earth. According to his friend Plato, Atlantis was suddenly struck by some cataclysmic events. Darkness over the face of the deep, wrath over the face of the deep, chaos over the face of the deep. And they sank it beneath the sea, making it the deep. Beneath the sea is the deep. Now, some of you may ask, what is Atlantis? It's just a myth, isn't it? Pure fantasy. Well, that is where you'd be wrong. 10,000 years ago, 10,000 years before the Egyptians built the pyramids, 10,000 years before the city of Enoch, ancient Egypt. 10,000 years before the Egyptians built the pyramids, before the city of Enoch, before the first ever Osiris and Horus in the world, there was the city of Atlantis with tech far beyond ours. And remember, I told you their whole thing was electricity. Their things were electricity, advanced medicine, hence pharmakia. You wonder why that stuff's emerged now? Absolutely. Even the power of flight. You ever wonder why that stuff started also in the 1900s? All the stuff of flight? Absolutely. Impossible, you may say. Well, no, not for them. Numerous ancient cultures all over the globe agree. Check out this stuff you're seeing in the background. That Atlantis possessed a power source of some kind. You see the dome right here? Okay? You see the sun worship here. You think that's the sun that's created later? No, this is the black sun. The black sun was created before the other sun, okay? The lesser light was created before the greater light, okay? And then later you have an actual representation of a sun and a moon in a place, okay? All right. This one here you'll learn in the movie is the blue sun. In the underworld, this is a dome here, okay? Atlantis possessed some kind of power source more powerful than steam, than coal, more powerful than our modern internal combustion engines. Now realize this was in 1912. This is right before we got into everything that we've learned since 1912. Flying in aircrafts. Well, that was around 1912. We've made our first airplane and we can go on and on and on with Orville and Wilbur Wright and all that stuff and how that started. And then next thing we're going to space and shooting rockets. Well, this is around this movie started discovering Atlantis and their technology. That's why the Freemasons are obsessed with the Atlantean culture. Gentlemen, I propose that we find Atlantis, says Michael John Fox, the fox in the brush, that also can time travel. I forgot that guy's name, but he also has it's Christopher. His name is Christopher, like Christopher Columbus. But it was Christopher John or Christopher James. Anyway, here we go. Now this page is from an illuminated text. What this is right here is this. Let's see. Actually, I don't think I even have it pulled up right now. I'll let him tell you. This is the Shepherd's Journal. Okay. This Shepherd's Journal said to have been first-hand account of Atlantis and its exact whereabouts, based on a centuries-old translation of Nordic tech. Historians believe the journal resides in Ireland. But after comparing the text to the ruins of this Viking shield, aka the Nordics, I found that the letters have been mistranslated, kind of like what we're seeing wrong with today's world. So they take the R and was really a C. The key to Atlantis is not in Ireland, gentlemen, but Iceland. Pause for effect. Gentlemen, I'll take your questions now. Okay, I'm going to exit out of that one. Why does that matter? Greenland, Iceland, Norway. And I told you, they swapped the names of Greenland and Iceland. That's what I was showing you earlier. Okay, watch this. I gotta find it, okay? All right, guys. I hope this one works, man. I really need the volume to work on it is the thing. Let me just make sure I can get it some other way. Please work. It's no volume. Man. This one is gonna make me upset, okay? This is the one I really needed you to hear. Okay. Maybe there's another way I can get it to work. Let me just try something else. Remove that one. This one just didn't have any volume like I wanted it to have. Maybe this one does. Let's see. Nope, no volume on that one either. Okay, so what this guy here is talking about is I'll show you. This is wild to me, all right? You just have to look at it, all right? In this video, what you see is stuff going on in Iceland. Don't you know in the last year it has been chaos in Iceland with volcanoes and all kinds of things like that? Well, check this out. Iceland warns likelihood of volcano eruption is significant after hundreds of earthquakes. But on top of it, he's focused in on this crack. Iceland is literally cracking open right now. It has been cracking open for the last year completely. But even more than that is what he talks about later. In this video, he says that underneath these cracks, people are saying they're experiencing and hearing things they've never heard and never experienced before. And they're calling it unholy, the noises that they're hearing coming from beneath these cracks in the ground. They're hearing some quote unquote unholy noises busting open from the ground here in Iceland just over the last year and especially over the last couple of months. Hence why there's this increase in talk of this stuff. But not just this, folks, okay? All right. There's also way more than that. Watch this. Screen share. Window and bam. All right. Watch this. Okay. All right. Okay. This is December 26th. Okay. They're saying that there has been this really huge increase in seismic activity going on in the world today. Well, I've been trying to tell you, it's prophesied that this next coming solar alignment is going to cause some instability in the surface of the earth. And also tied in the fact that La Palma, which means the palm of St. Michael's hand, and it's literally called the cauldron, or the flattening cauldron, okay, La Palma. St. Michael's La Palma means St. Michael's hand, and it's called the cauldron. And a cauldron is a cup, a chalice. And it says that he will pour out his wrath on Babylon the Great. That's why it says in Lahaina that there is actually not Lahaina. Am I said Lahaina? This is La Palma. And La Palma, there's actually a fracture in the crack of the land, just as it was in the movie that just came out because they're trying to tell you. Okay, there's actually a fracture there that has appeared, and this instability in the earth is going to cause this thing to crack open and cause a tsunami to wipe out and cause the naval flood maps of the United States and everything, that wave that's destined for Babylon and stuff. That's where that's going to happen. But it's also going to cause the San Andreas fault line to crack and slap off into the ocean. Well, there goes that one too, that whole fulfillment of the naval flood maps. But remember, it says 1/3 of the earth is going to be immediately, okay? And then there appears when we start being round up natural disaster stuff. All right. Well, that's destined to happen here coming this year. But on top of that, there's, man, this is crazy. All right. On top of that, there is this. All right. Where am I at? Not that one. Not that one. Where is it? Under. Okay. There's this. There's an undersea volcano near Oregon that's expected to erupt in 2025. Okay. Scientists predict it could help improve the eruption forecast. This was January 9th of 2025. Okay. Okay. This one here is a busting that's taking place, but they're actually predicting this now, not putting an account for what's about to be taking place. And here's another fun fact for you. Did you know this is going on right now? Watch this. All right. All right. All right. It says St. Helens has experienced an increase in seismic activity and earthquake activity as of 6 days ago. Mount St. Helens, with nearly 320% increase in risk of eruption, is what this video says right here, word for word. They're predicting that Mount St. Helens is also going to take place this year and erupt. Okay, but not like any eruption before, like in the 1980s. This one is expected to be a chain of events. They have done research they have found out that Mount St. Helens is actually tied into Mount Adams and a few other mountains right in general. Those volcanoes that are all expected to erupt simultaneously. Was anyone going to talk about the fact that Yellowstone National Park has been active over this last year and starting to rumble a little bit and starting to get ready and starting to spew up a little bit more than what it's been doing over a long time? Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, yes, that stuff has been going on a lot more intense lately. But as of right now, joke, she says Mount St. Helens is about to blow. It's all after the area saw. Let me see if it's got some closed captions for you guys. Yes. So this is all after hundreds and hundreds of earthquakes. Okay. It's saying that recent data is showing a 300% increase in a chance of earthquake from Mount St. Helens, which is also by Mount St. Olympus. Everybody's focused on the maps and stuff, and they don't realize it's all off. Mount Olympus is Zeus. Mount Helens is Saint Hela, who are his husband and wife. You have Zeus and Hela. You have Lilith and Satan. Okay, those are their mountains. Okay, you have Zeus and Hela, and their son Thor, the light bearer, Lucifer. Not Thor, Hercules, the light bearer, Lucifer. Okay, well that's over here in Babylon as well. Washington, you know the importance of Washington. Why would they name a state Washington? If Washington, D.C. is our capital, don't you think there's something important about Washington State where Mount Olympus and Mount St. Helens is? Absolutely. Okay, absolutely. So right now they're expecting multiple things to erupt and multiple things to take place. But what about the fog? And what about these locusts that are supposed to be coming up with these frogs once the earth breaks open and actually allows these bigger creatures to come up, which is what's going to happen? You can hear them all stirring up beneath the earth right now. Even over there in the Euphrates overseas, people are like, oh, they're hearing stuff down here. Indeed, wait till they come up, okay? Because it's coming. But I want to show you something about this fog. Remember, Davy Jones, his ship always travels in fog, okay? Pointed out in SpongeBob. Even in that movie, it's a green fog that he travels around with as well. And there's also this whole obsession with fog in many movies, like The Arrival. When the aliens arrive, well, they arrive in a fog, literally like this. The fog takes over the earth, it comes spewing everywhere in the Arrival movie, The Fog. But not just that. You mean to blow your mind for a little bit? Yeah. All right. Well, look at what happens in the fog. I want to show you the real thing. I've actually got this one. Well, yeah, I'll show you this way. Watch this, guys. Guess what happens in the fog? There are these octopus kraken-like creatures, and they can only exist. And see, they're wearing radioactive suits right here. Wearing radioactive suits in this movie called The Arrival. And they come down in these giant alien pods, okay? And look at the fog and the mist they had to contain because of the poison in it. And would you believe what's in there? Okay. Well, these creatures exist in this mist, this fog that is toxic, that is poison. Well, watch this, guys. They need to see me. Watch this, guys. She's walking towards the thing. Watch these creatures that exist in the fog and the mist that's poison the people. She's trying to communicate to them. Boom. It's a kraken. Okay, yeah, it's a kraken. But I want to show you something else even crazier than this one. I hope you're ready for this one. Okay. Well, there's this movie, The Mist, that I brought up the other day, but I wasn't able to show you guys all of the clips. But I can show you some clips right now. Hold on to your hats. All right. Let's see here today. Maybe it's this one. No, not that one. Sorry, guys. One sec. Lots and lots of stuff down here I'm going through. Right. Boom, 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 boom. I know you're in here. Okay, I'll just have to do it the other way. One sec. I'm going to pull it this way. Boy, this is crazy to me. Watch this. All right. Screen share, present, stop screen, share screen, window, and let me get it pulled up. Which one is it? Hold on. I think it's this one. Yep, should be this one. Okay. Oh, yeah. So you remember the movie The Mist, right? Well, here we go. Watch this. In this movie, here's what you see all over things. Moldy fibers. Look at this woman all moldy and fibered up. Remember the video I shared the other day of mold growing on everything? Well, watch this one. This will blow your mind. All right. Okay. Watch this. Here, Leon. The light. Anything with light. The lights of the world. Christ says that he's the light of the world and he resides in us, and he tells us, is what she said. She said, wow, look at those stingers. Seems like I'm lagging a little bit on my end. YouTube, are you fighting me a little bit on this one? I hope not. Okay, let's go. All right, so there's that. Okay, well, now let's look on even further. Let's see if I got something else to show you guys that's absolutely bananas. Okay, yeah, I'll stop with the video stuff and I'll move on to some other stuff right now because we do still have a whole lot to go through. Okay, there's that. We've gone through screen share back here and get back on the roll. Well, I've got 140 of you guys up here. If you guys don't mind, hit one of the buttons down there, whether it's a like or a thumbs down. I don't really care. Okay, both do the algorithm good, and it's not about my glory, it's about his glory. I'm just trying to get some people more in here with the truth. Okay, so if you guys could hit the like button, get the algorithm up, hit the share a couple of times while I'm getting this stuff pulled up, working hard back here in the background for you guys, that would be fabulous. Okay, all right, get my screen share going. Okay, here we go. All right. Next thing we're going to look at is this Viking prologue, okay, that was added. The Viking prologue was the original opening sequence planned for Atlantis, the Lost Empire. It presumably presents the failed expedition of the Viking Thorfinn Karlsefni participated in order to find Atlantis, the premise. Following the directions of the illustrated of Shepherd's Journal, a Viking ship sets forth through a thunderstorm to look through a fog storm to locate what is believed. I showed you guys it was literally fog. What is believed to be a portal that will lead them to Atlantis. One of the crewmen is concerned about the page that shows a giant creature supposedly guarding the entrance, but the captain will hear none of it and threatens to kill anyone that tries to halt the expedition any further. Suddenly, a gigantic creature leaps over them before it attacks the ship. Tentacles violently drag the crewmen into the watery grave while also tearing the ship apart. The captain shows no fear, but is knocked down from falling mast. Satisfied at eliminating all aboard the ship, the Leviathan descends into the water before shooting an energy blast completely destroys the ship. Remember, in the Bible, it tells you Leviathan can emit a ray of light from its mouth and its eyes. Fire. Okay. Descends into the water before shooting an energy blast that completely destroys the ship. Godzilla. The Shepherd's Journal is hurled several feet away from the ocean unscathed. Despite a different Viking appearing in the sequel in the movie, Milo's Return, the characters presented in the scrap, they ended up scrapping the prologue, have zero correlation with the Viking character Eric Hellstorm, and they wanted to change it. They presented too much, and so they did it another way. Okay, all right. So let's move forward because there's some other crazy stuff I want to show you. All right. Remember, I was talking about the great maps that literally show you that the creatures are all around the island. Well, here's a map, an old map. I love old maps. This is an antique map right here. I would love to buy it of Iceland or as they say in Chronicles of Narnia, when you go into the Arctic ice north with the Queen of the North and her ice wall and everything else, you have Iceland, the lion. All right, Aslan, the lion, the guardian of Hyperborea. Okay, this is where Iceland comes in. Okay, and would you look at the creatures depicted on this old map, folks, of Icelandia? Do they look like anything you've ever seen in your life? How about these? Maybe they were just drawing pictures of things they saw in the water, right? Hmm. I don't know. Okay. Okay. You get it. They're on a lot of older maps, but I thought that one was the coolest. Okay. Well, here we go. Just to show you what In the Mist was, it was an Arrowhead project. Okay, that was taking place. The government technically released that mist on the world and those creatures onto the people. Watch. They were terraforming the earth. It escaped on them. The Arrowhead Project is a military experiment performed in Shaymore, apparently intended to create a trans-dimensional window with which to peer through into other dimensions through this fog. The project's insignia, which can be seen on the uniforms of white-suited personnel in the film's ending, is a stylized black knight on a horse, climbing a lightning bolt, climbing electricity, climbing the blue flame, climbing the blue spark out, okay, onto the earth. All right, well, here it goes. On July 17, 1980, in the novella, presumably in 2000 in the film, the experiment went awry, possibly due to an intense damage from a storm, like what's going on right now, and is believed to have released a mist. You guys have noticed the increase in storms, right? Have you noticed the increase in the releasing of a mist? You have. And it's monsters into the world from another dimension, aka the Hyperborea. Though it was never made certain in either the novella or the finished film whether or not the Arrowhead Project truly was the one that released the mist and the creatures into the universe, the original script for the film included a prologue scene. In it, the scientists and military of the Arrowhead Project base successfully opened a portal to another dimension, aka CERN, inside a tank. However, lightning from the storm struck the base, causing the portal to expand and the mist and the creatures to begin to pour through. Despite the Arrowhead Project, personnel attempted to close the portal, but the creatures broke out of the tank which the portal was contained in, allowing the mist to flood into the bases. That's exactly what took place in the Arrival movie as well. Okay. Okay. Some of this stuff over here I had kind of extra. I just want to make sure what this is here. If you guys want to read through it, if you're looking on information on Hollow Earth and things like that, there's multiple places you can go in Enoch. This one here is real good, okay? This is about Sheol and the underworld. I'll read through this one real quick with you just so you can kind of get the gist. All right, this is a cool thing to read through right here at the end. We're not reading everything. This is split between two forms so you can concord between the two versions. Okay, so here we go. And thence I went to another place, and he showed me in the west another great and high mountain of hard rock. So he went up this mountain of hard rock, and guess where he goes? And there was in that mountain of hollow rock volcano 4 hollow places. 4 hollow places. 4 of them. Like I was telling you. Deep and wide and very smooth. Oh, how smooth are the hollow places, and deep and dark to look at. Okay. Well, check this out. Then Raphael answered, one of the holy angels who was with me, and said unto me, these hollow places have been created for this very purpose, for the spirits of the souls of the dead should assemble therein. Yeah, that all the souls of the children of men assemble here in the hallowed places of the earth, and these places have been made to receive them till the day of their judgment. It's crazy to know that the last thing that takes place in Revelation 20 is the sea gives up its dead. They release dead things up onto the earth. The ground, Hades, releases its dead onto the earth as well. Is actually what takes place. The last things that take place is that stuff is released back up. Okay. All right. All right, the spirits, the souls of dead, just like in Hades, I mean in Hercules, you have them all assembled down there, okay, and then when they die or whatever, there's a spirit that ascends, and it's crazy what they put in Hercules too. Okay, these places have been made to receive them to the day of their judgment, till the appointed period, till the period appointed, till the great judgment comes upon them. AKA, our body sits in the dust, we sit in the hollow places of the thing spiritually. Okay, there's 144,000 gathered in the third heavens that took place before the MK, which we've already talked about. They reigned for 1,000 years, but they only lived to be how old? Only to be right 1,000 years old. It says they will live out their lives in the fullest, but they will still die at an old age. Then it says that some of us will not be given life until after the 1,000-year reign, hence the camp of saints that are alive right now in the short season of Satan of Revelation 20. Okay. I saw the spirits of the children of men who were dead, and their voice went forth to heaven and made a suit. Then I asked Raphael, the angel who was with me, and I said unto him, this spirit, whose is the voice that goeth forth making a suit? We all know that that is Abel. Okay. I'm telling you the importance of Abel, okay, and the importance of Adam. I saw the spirits of the children of men who were dead, and their voice went forth to heaven and made suit. Then I asked, okay, yep, and he answered me, saying, this is the spirit which went forth from Abel. Okay, I've been trying to tell you, Adam became a life-giving spirit. Well, right here in Enoch, Abel also gave off a spirit that was still able to make a suit and claim and etc., which is why you have your book of Jubilees, which talks about the holy body of Adam and the holy body of Abel, and also the cave of treasures, in which they took the holy body of Adam, and they what? They stored Adam with gold, frankincense, and myrrh. They took him out of the world the same way he would come back into the world. That's why they talk about the first and the last Adam. Everyone wants to talk about the fact that the Bible tells you word for word that the last Adam, the second Adam, is Christ from heaven. But they don't want to talk about how it says the first Adam right before that. It says the first Adam had become a living soul. The last Adam became a life-giving spirit. That's why he says he was with the Father at the beginning, created in his image. And you need to realize Adam named everything that was given life. His father allowed Adam to name everything that was given life, to give everything purpose. And guess what? Adam was made the first ruler of the world. He was to have dominion, to be the first king. That's why he's the king of kings. Okay? He had dominion over everything that was given life on the earth, all of it. And he gave it its names. He gave it its purpose. He knows your name. Okay? He was allowed to do so through his father. And then it was not good for man to be alone with the father and all these animals. So he puts him to sleep and brings a woman into the world. Okay? And then that woman also came from Adam. So you got to realize that's still a reflection of the Father through the Son. And there she is broken off. All right. We're not going to get into that whole detailed stuff again today. I've done many lives on that. Okay. But there is indeed hollow places in the earth. Lots of hollow places in the earth. Okay. And they're for different things. If this chapter interests you and you've never read the book of Enoch, maybe check it out if that was interesting to you already. Okay. I don't think we're going to read through this one. This one was a whole lot. I just had this was me reading for fun. Okay. All right. Atlantis. Oh, this was what Plato was talking about, which I've already went through with you guys. And this is how he talks about how it sank before the first ever Egypt was around and all that stuff. 9,000 years before that. Okay. All right. This is just more iteration on what we've already talked about. So it's okay that I'm exiting that out. This is the Shepherd's Journal. Okay. And believe it or not, the Shepherd's Journal from the movie of the Lost Empire of Atlantis, the cartoon we watched, is actually based off a real Shepherd's Journal in which it has literally everything we were talking about in real form. Iceland, Greenland being the entrance into Hollow Earth, and all the theories that Plato had around the Nordics and everything I've been telling you about Hyperborea. Okay? Now, oh, you know who wrote The Fog? John Carpenter. And do you know who was in it? John Houseman. By the way, let's talk about that again because it's the exact same thing going on here with this fog stuff released on the earth, and it torments and causes all this chaos on the earth with the people as this fog spreads. And there's your other John character, even in this movie. Is that Michael? No, okay. That actually looks like a mixture of Donald Trump and Michael John Fox. That's weird. Okay. All right, let me exit out of that. All right, so right at 2 hours. I'm cool with that. I hope you guys got a lot out of this. Okay, because I gave you a whole lot of work today for it. This took probably, I don't know how many hours of research today, a whole lot, but it all makes sense to me. And I hope that it makes sense to you. And I truly hope that if you're new to this channel and you jumped on this video late and it started making sense to you, restart it tomorrow and listen to the full thing in its full extent and then watch how it happens. Okay. And then if all this video interested you and it's your first time ever on Beyond the Veil, I've got about 200 videos in general for you to watch. Start with the newer ones and work your way back is what I've been telling people lately. Don't start with the older ones and work this way because they're actually really poor video footage, and I've actually repeated a lot of that stuff since then. You don't have to go back that far. You can start now and work your way back, okay? There's some people that have been messaging me, no joke, and I can tell they're actually doing it because their comments are going crazy in all my videos all throughout like 2 or 3 days. They've went and watched like 20 of my videos. There's people who have binge watched my videos for 2 days straight, supposedly. Like no sleep is what this one guy said. All right. You can find a lot of goods in there, but I'm encouraging you to go to my live stream section and start with my last 5 or 6 uploads, or go back to the tsunami upload. Okay. Now, little update on my family and me. Okay. We are still here in Texas on our baptism trip that we're doing across the United States one last time. Well, we have met hundreds of families, and it's been incredible, and ministered to them and spent some time in fellowship with them, and ultimately enjoyed witnessing their baptism as well. It was incredible. Okay. Well, starting this weekend, we're going to move on forward to Odessa, where we'll be for a little bit. And then after Odessa, we'll be going to Roswell, New Mexico for more baptism. And then after there, we'll be going over into your Arizona, Nevada areas, Utah areas, California, Oregon, Washington State, which I don't think we have anybody in Oregon this time. So if after California will indeed be Washington State. I know there's a group of you waiting for Washington State, Wyoming, Iowa, of course, Colorado, Wisconsin. Trying to think of everywhere. Man, it's a lot. My wife's over there. This is tough. Okay. We have been on the road living with the minimum for, I think, like 5 months right now. So it's been real tough, real hard. And there's been multiple times where me and my family have just broken, and we've been like, man, this is really this is it. But then at the end of the week, we meet people, we fellowship, and baptism makes it all worth it, and we reset and recoup and rejuvenate, because it tells you on the Sabbath, if you hold back your foot from your own wants, your own desires, and you go get that lost sheep out of the ditch, then at the end of that day, he will flow through you with restoration. And when you call out on his name, he will answer you. And when you speak, he will listen. That's why I'm so grateful and confident in the things that I say, because of the time that I spend with him, trying my best to follow him and love him in a way in which he says, by keeping his commandments, by doing what he says and being faithful and true to his words. And when I mess up, I repent and I acknowledge that thing before Christ. I'm like, look, I did that today and it was horrible. It was horrible. And I'm letting you know, I know you saw me. And I'm asking you to change it and rearrange it and strip it out of my life and make me new tomorrow. Then I pick up my cross the next day and I follow again, and I repent and I stop and I change, and I let each day be a step forward and not a step backwards. And then when I don't know what to say, I say, Father, your word says that if I don't know what to say, to ask you, and you will give to those that are seeking wisdom generously. And you also say that We can ask for a voice, and you will give us a voice that speaks in a way in which the enemy cannot refuse or refute. Okay? Ask for those things and be confident in the things in which he does in your life. You don't see me up here like a pastor of a church with a big old notebook in front of me the whole time. Da da la 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 for 20 minutes. Da 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 da. John 3:16. Da 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 da. Grace and love. Da 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 da. Communion. Da 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 da. Tithing. Da 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 da. Come back next Sunday and make sure you bring your cousin who has a lot of money in 25 minutes. I spend 2 hours pouring my heart out to you. Apparently twice a day. Okay. So I'm really hoping you guys are getting something out of all this I'm pouring into it. Even if it's only one of you, it makes it worth it. Okay. So I'm going to get off of here. It's 11:15 where I am, and my wife and my children are sleeping right over there. Okay. So I should probably get off of here and try and settle down myself. I don't know if I'll be going live tomorrow. I don't ever know what I'm really going to do. Okay. You're not promised tomorrow. It says tomorrow has enough to worry about in itself. So I just go with the flow. Okay. So be on the lookout and see what you can find. Okay. If you want to help out with this ministry whatsoever, I'm seeking prayer on all kinds of things. Okay. For not just the ministry, but stamina for me and my wife, and encouragement, endurance in our life as well. Okay. It's tough. Just getting beat down. This week right now, though, has truly been a blessing. I have had some wonderful fellowship with two amazing people this week. Okay, I'll say their names: Karen and Tracy Stone. You'll see them up here all the time. Miss Karen will. Tracy won't talk as much, but Miss Karen Stone, you're here listening right now. I have enjoyed my time with you this week. It has been wonderful. Tracy, you too. You guys have been a blessing as I've been trying to get my truck fixed. For you that don't know, my truck has been completely tore apart in a shop right now. Yeah, but now I'm about to be back on the road, and it's going to be awesome. I'm not going to have any more problems. There's not going to be any more clicking and ticking and check engines and wrenches popping up down there and powering down, and what was that other thing? Oil pressure, whatever, down and bogging down. All that stuff is going to be gone. So I'm going to be in a quick, expedited move here coming up. For a while, I've only been able to drive my truck for about 65 miles per hour because my truck will not allow it to go over it because of some mechanism problem I've been having going on with it. And I've only been able to travel 2 to 3 hour time at a time. Okay. It's been nuts. We're hoping this is going to pick up a little bit from here. So if you're waiting to get baptized, number one, it doesn't have to be me. I am no one other than a witness. Find you someone else who has been a disciple, been baptized. You're a disciple making a disciple. This is the easy part. You do what Philip and the Ethiopian did. You're someone with the gospel. You've been saved. You present them with the gospel, and you witness what it takes place in their life. You tell them what they must do, and just like the Ethiopian, he said, "There's water right there. What's stopping me from being saved?" And so he led them into the water, and boom, it happened. Just those two in the wilderness. All it takes is a hand and a foot with him as the witness. Okay, I'm no one, but if you're waiting for me, I'll be there. All right. Lastly, if you want to help out financially, okay, there's that option down there for you. Only for those willing, not for like baptism. If you're looking for baptisms, just know that this is ministry is for you. Okay, I don't care if you don't have nothing. I'll come to you. I don't care if you live on a box on the side of the road. I'll be there and I will make it happen. Okay, so reach out however you can. Other than that, I think I'm done for the day. It's been 2 hours here. I love you guys so much, and I really hope that you got a lot out of this, and I hope that it opened your eyes so much to stuff. All right. If you enjoyed it a whole lot, hit one of the buttons on the way out. Love you guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Good night and or day from beyond the veil.